told him to do this. What is that? The Superman whiff? My man. Aside from that, that's a false start in the backfield. He gets set in motion, and that's a false start right there. Doesn't get called, whatever. Lastly, let's look at left guard Big Joel Bitonio.
And y'all see what we dealing with. Now y'all see why it'd be so hard for me to become a Cleveland Brown fan, bro. Because this is what we dealing with, man. Like, I just gotta be honest here, bro.
The Cleveland Browns are sitting in the center of a storm that has the entire NFL community buzzing. And what's coming next is the kind of thing that makes fans freeze in disbelief. This isn't about a simple missed block or some rookie slip-up. What people are watching unfold looks way deeper, and it has fans, analysts, and even rival players wondering if something is seriously off inside this franchise. Picture the moment, 4th and 1, right outside the red zone. This is where real contenders show who they are, where offensive lines prove their strength, where players build their legacy. But what actually happened on this play didn't go viral for greatness. It went viral because the whole thing looked completely unreal, and the film leaves no room for debate. What went down sparked a massive argument online, with millions of views and comment sections full of fans who cannot believe what they watched. So, let's rewind this whole situation, because the roots of this story started weeks ago. Quiet conversations were circling around the league. Small comments from film junkies, subtle hints from hardcore fans, all pointing towards something strange happening with the Browns' offensive line. Specifically, when rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders is taking the snap. And this isn't some basement conspiracy board with strings and pins. This is real film study that has veteran analysts raising their eyebrows and asking questions nobody thought they'd ever ask about a professional football team. The clip that lit everything on fire came from a recent Browns game. And once you see it, the whole uproar makes sense. A TikTok creator named Wint Thatcher was doing what thousands of fans do every week, breaking down film, checking alignments, studying details. But on this 4th down play, he stumbled onto something nobody expected. Then the clip got reposted by Gucci on Twitter, a well-known voice in the football community who never hesitates to call out questionable plays. And from there, the clip spread everywhere, across social media, like a blast wave. So, let's talk about the play itself, because the details matter big time. The Browns lined up for a crucial 4th and 1. In football terms, this is as basic as it gets. 1 yard, just 36 inches. A distance every NFL lineman is trained to dominate. With the money this roster is built on, converting this situation should practically be automatic. But then things get outright bizarre. Right tackle Jack Conklin, a longtime veteran who absolutely knows better, makes a move that stunned coaches all across the league.
I mean, damn, dog. Just as a fan and just as somebody that want to see Shedeur win, it's like, why we got to deal with this?
It's been a while.
Instead of engaging the defender in front of him, instead of driving forward with power, Conklin literally launches himself forward like he's diving into an action movie. The man takes flight, actual airtime, while the defender he was supposed to block gets a clear runway into the backfield. You might think, all right, maybe he misread the assignment. Maybe he thought he needed to reach the 2nd level. Maybe there was a communication issue. These things do happen sometimes. But wait, because the chaos is far from over. Before Conklin even goes airborne, there's a clear false start happening in the backfield. A player shifts illegally, and somehow the officials just let it slide, with no flag at all. Then, things get even wilder. Joel Bitonio, the veteran left guard, and the supposed stabilizer of this entire line, completely loses his footing on his block. And this isn't some crazy pass rush move beating him. It looks like he just collapses, without delivering any meaningful contact. It's like watching someone slip on a cartoon peel, except it's happening in the NFL with millions of dollars and a young quarterback's future tied to every snap. The outcome? A pair of defenders fire through untouched. The play never has a fighting chance, and Shedeur Sanders gets smothered before he can even attempt the play. The Browns hand over the ball on downs, and another opportunity vanishes right in front of them like sand spilling through fingertips. And here's where the story shifts from strange to outright alarming. This isn't a one-time glitch. This isn't some random ugly play that teams just move past. Over the past several weeks, more and more film clips have surfaced, and they show a pattern, a troubling pattern that fans can't ignore. Clips showing linemen appearing to collide with Shedeur Sanders instead of protecting him. Clips showing linemen blocking their own teammates by accident. Clips showing confusion that goes far beyond simple growing pains or miscommunication.
I think every rookie's journey is different. You know, he may have a good game this week, a bad game next week. I may have a bad game this week, good game next week. So you really just take it week to week. You play the play call, you live, the quarterback way of not getting too high or too low at any aspect. And you really just continue to try to, focus on what you can do. Because at the end of the day, I don't know what's going on in their building. I don't know what he has to deal with on a daily basis in and out of the building. So I just try to focus, on the Titans and, doing what I can do to help us get the wins.
Think about the weight of this for a rookie quarterback trying to build his place in the NFL. Shedeur Sanders came in with expectations as high as any rookie could face. His pedigree, his football IQ, his arm talent, all of it puts him in a rare category. But none of that matters if the men paid to protect him are falling apart in front of the entire world. Or, as some fans are daring to whisper now, if they're intentionally making his job harder. And that brings us right back to Joel Bitonio, who becomes a major figure in this whole discussion. He's the leader of this offensive line, the veteran who's supposed to bring stability and set the tone for everyone else. Yet, his involvement in these questionable moments is now drawing more attention than ever. He's supposed to be the veteran voice, the calm presence, the one who sets the tone for the entire unit on and off the field. He's the guy giving speeches, shaping the message, acting like the quarterback of the offensive line room. But when you turn on the film and watch him drop to the turf, without even attempting to slow down a defender, it forces real questions about leadership, accountability, and whatever is happening behind the doors of that Browns building. The timing of this disaster couldn't be worse for Cleveland. This is a franchise that has been searching for quarterback stability for what feels like forever. They've gone through more quarterbacks than some teams have gone through coordinators. Now, they finally land on someone with real promise in Shedeur Sanders, a young quarterback with talent worth building around, and suddenly they're dealing with an offensive line controversy that could derail everything before it even gets off the ground. How is a rookie supposed to grow when he can't trust the group that's literally paid to protect him? How is he supposed to learn NFL timing, build rhythm, or gain confidence when every snap feels like he's stepping into traffic with no crosswalk? The contrast becomes even clearer when you look at another rookie quarterback around the league. Cam Ward, who's facing his own challenges, but still operating in a completely different environment. Ward recently spoke to the media about his season, his bond with Shedeur Sanders, and the grind of surviving year one in the league. His comments offer a window into the rookie quarterback experience and highlight just how different Sanders' situation might be. When asked about building chemistry with his receivers, Ward talked about study habits, ball placement, and the normal growing pains every rookie goes through. These are expected hurdles: timing, coverages, speed of the game. All tough, but all fixable with reps and coaching. But when Ward was asked about Shedeur Sanders and whether he sees similarities in the adversity they're both facing, his answer carried weight. He said every rookie's journey is unique, that you take things week by week, and you can't get too high or too low. But then he slipped in something that made everyone pause. He said he doesn't know what's going on inside Cleveland's building, and doesn't know what Sanders has to deal with day to day in the facility. That's a respectful way of saying that even he recognizes Sanders might be facing challenges far beyond the usual rookie struggles. Ward also shared that he and Sanders talked early in the season, that they've got a solid relationship, and that they support each other even if the NFL schedule makes it hard to stay connected. He spoke about feeling fortunate to finish games healthy, something that hits differently when you remember that Sanders is taking hit after hit because his protection keeps collapsing. That comment alone speaks volumes about the contrast in their situations. But the most revealing part came when Ward was asked about the draft, and why Sanders slipped lower than many expected, despite being one of the top talents available. Ward kept it measured and thoughtful, saying, "Everything happens for a reason," talking about faith and about proving yourself every time you step onto the field. But there was an unspoken acknowledgement behind his words, an understanding that maybe some teams had concerns about the environment Sanders would be stepping into, or how his skill set would mesh with certain organizations. Ward then dropped another powerful thought about losing. He said, "Sometimes You have to lose to win. And he explained that while winning shows you a lot, losing shows you everything. When you're winning, issues get hidden, buried under the celebration. But when you lose, when things fall apart, that's when the truth comes out. That's when you see real character and find out who's truly committed and who might just be going through motions. And that philosophy fits the Browns right now in a way that is almost uncomfortable. The losses are exposing everything. The tape doesn't lie, and the footage captures exactly what's happening snap after snap. No press conference, no carefully crafted quote. No social media spin can erase what the cameras show.
How would you describe the nature of your relationship with Shedeur, and when was the last time you guys spoke?
Real good. He knows I'm here anytime. I'll probably say since the start of the season, the last time we spoke. But it's just more of, we know at the end of the day, if something going crazy, we know who we got out there in our circle. And just understand just the schedule that we both had to have. So, I'm always going to be there for my guy. I know he's going to be there for me. And I think the biggest thing that, we take for granted of is just being able to play the game healthy, being able to get out of the games healthy. And that's something that, that we blessed to continue.
When Jack Conklin hurls himself forward like he's trying to qualify for an Olympic long jump instead of locking onto a defender, the film catches it. When Joel Bitonio collapses to the ground without touching a soul, the camera has it in perfect detail. And when Shedeur Sanders takes yet another hit because the pocket completely falls apart, every angle shows precisely how it happened. And now a question is spreading everywhere, from halftime shows to social media threads to fan forums. Is this incompetence or is it intentional? Are we seeing a unit that's poorly coached and lacking basic fundamentals? Or are we witnessing something far more serious? Are these players suddenly forgetting how to do things they've mastered for years? Or is something else bubbling underneath the surface? The idea of intentional sabotage is heavy. It should never be thrown around casually. These players are professionals with reputations, contracts, and futures tied to their performance. Playing poorly on purpose would hurt them just as much as anyone else. But then you watch the film again. You see Conklin diving into empty space. You see Bitonio falling untouched. You see Sanders taking unnecessary punishment over and over. And you can't help but wonder if this situation is bigger than simple mental errors or bad technique. The impact on Shedeur Sanders is massive. A rookie quarterback needs stability to grow. He needs time to read the field, time to develop chemistry, time to build trust in his own rhythm. But when every other play ends with pressure in his face, how can he settle in? How can he learn progressions when he barely gets to finish his drop? How can he build confidence when the pocket collapses before routes even develop? It can break a young quarterback completely, shake their confidence, and turn a promising career into a cautionary story that coaches point to for years. Think about the mental toll this puts on Shedeur Sanders. He walks to the line, scans the defense, calls out protections like a pro, and then watches his offensive line fall apart in front of him like they've never practiced together. How many times can that happen before doubt creeps into his mind? How many times can he take a blindside hit because his right tackle lunged at nothing but open space before he starts feeling pressure even when nobody is near him? That's how quarterbacks develop happy feet. How they start seeing things that aren't there. How their internal clock speeds up so fast. They begin forcing throws and making decisions they normally wouldn't even consider. And through all this madness, the Browns organization has stayed completely silent. And honestly, that silence might be the most concerning part of the entire situation. No statements about the offensive line, no explanations for the repeated breakdowns, no coaching adjustments announced, no accountability measures, nothing. The silence is so loud that fans can't help but speculate even more. From a coaching standpoint, this situation should never be acceptable. If these are truly just mistakes and blown assignments, then the offensive line coach has to take responsibility for preparing these players better. These are the basics: engaging your man, keeping your feet steady, using your hands correctly, staying upright, and finishing the block. This is football foundation work that these players mastered long before reaching the NFL. So, if the coaching is solid and the players are still performing like this, then changes should be made. The league is full of offensive linemen who would jump at the chance for a roster spot. There are practice squad grinders, veterans waiting by the phone, and hungry players working day jobs, praying for an opportunity. If your starters can't or won't do the job, then swap them out for guys who will fight for every snap. But if the situation is something more intentional, if there's even a hint of sabotage, then the Browns are dealing with a crisis much deeper than protection issues. That would mean a total breakdown in team culture, a locker room where veterans might be undermining the growth of a rookie quarterback for reasons nobody fully understands. Could it be jealousy over Sanders' draft attention? Frustration with how the roster was built? Resentment over leadership decisions? Some personal issue behind the scenes that leaked onto the field? These questions are everywhere now because the viral clips forced the entire NFL world into the conversation. Millions have watched the plays frame by frame. They've seen Conklin's midair launch and Bitonio's unexpected fall. They've heard analysts break down the protection issues like it's a crime scene investigation. And the public opinion is rough. Fans are roasting the Browns' offensive line, questioning their professionalism, and doubting their effort on every snap. For Shedeur Sanders, this moment could shape everything about his NFL future. How he handles this pressure, how he responds to playing behind an offensive line that's falling apart, will play a huge role in defining the quarterback he becomes. Some young QBs crumble when they're hit constantly. When every snap feels like survival mode, when the stress becomes too much, and their growth slows to a stop. But other quarterbacks use chaos as motivation. They develop faster releases, sharper instincts, and a toughness that sets them apart from everyone else. They become sharper with their reads, quicker with their progressions, and more confident in chaos when everything around them is falling apart. They learn to feel pressure before it even arrives, sliding in the pocket with instincts that only come from hardship. Some of the greatest quarterbacks ever, guys who turned into legends, had to fight through ugly starts early in their careers, and those battles shaped them into the players we still talk about today. So the real question is, which direction will Shedeur Sanders go? Does he have the mental toughness to stay steady in a situation that would crack most rookies? Can he keep his confidence high and continue building his game while the world around him feels like it's crumbling? Or will these early experiences leave marks that follow him for years and hold him back from reaching the level everyone knows he can hit? When you zoom out, this whole mess raises deeper questions about NFL accountability. How do players go out there and put film like this on tape without consequences? Where are the coaches checking their room? Where is the front office stepping in to demand higher standards? In most jobs, if you fail the basics, there are consequences. Demotions, firings, replacements. But in the NFL, especially with veterans who have guaranteed money, underperformance sometimes hangs around longer than it should. And you can't ignore the financial side of this. Offensive linemen in today's NFL make serious money. Jack Conklin is on a massive extension that made him one of the highest paid right tackles in the league. Joel Bitonio has earned multiple big deals over the years. These are players compensated at the very top of their profession. Yet, the performance on the field sometimes looks more like a preseason unit of backups than a professional group protecting a rookie quarterback. Browns fans, who have lived through decades of heartbreak, deserve better than this. They've stayed loyal through losing seasons, quarterback turnover, coaching resets, and front office chaos. Now they finally have a rookie quarterback with real upside, someone who could be the future of the franchise, and they're forced to watch him take unnecessary punishment behind a line that looks either totally out of sync or, as some frustrated fans have suggested, actively working against him. And this story has now gone national. What began as social media breakdowns and independent film studies has jumped to major network coverage. Analysts are openly discussing the Browns' protection issues. Former players are chiming in with their reactions. Coaches and front office members across the league are surely taking notes and filing this away because any weakness on film becomes a competitive advantage for future opponents. For the other rookie quarterbacks from Shedeur Sanders' draft class, this whole situation is a harsh reminder of how much success in the NFL depends on what's around you. You can have every tool, arm strength, accuracy, field vision, but if the offensive line doesn't protect you, if coaches don't put you in the right situations, if the organization isn't truly committed to developing you, then none of that talent matters. The NFL is the ultimate team game, and no position relies on others more than quarterback. The next few weeks are going to be massive in determining how this saga unfolds. Will the Browns shake up their offensive line and bring in new faces? Will coaches start demanding real accountability? Will we hear someone from the organization address what's happening publicly? And the real question, hovering over everything now, is this. Will the truth about what's happening inside that building ever fully come out? The film keeps rolling every week and the camera doesn't lie. Every snap is recorded from angles that catch everything. Every missed block, every failed assignment, every moment where a Browns lineman doesn't do the job he's paid to do. As long as this pattern keeps showing up, as long as Shedeur Sanders is standing back there with defenders getting free runs at him, the noise surrounding this controversy is only going to grow louder. This is bigger than football now. It's about professionalism. It's about accountability. It's about how a franchise responds when the problems aren't just on the scoreboard, but inside the locker room. It's about whether veteran players are going to step up and protect a young quarterback, or leave him alone in the fire. And that leads to the toughest question of all. Are these honest mistakes, or does this look like something far more intentional? The Cleveland Browns are officially at a crossroads right now. They can look the situation in the face, fix what needs fixing, and build around Shedeur Sanders the right way. Or they can keep sliding down this path and watch another promising young quarterback's future get shaken before it ever really begins. Time is running out, and the patience of fans, media, and NFL watchers everywhere is wearing thin. What we're watching might go down as one of the strangest, most talked about chapters in recent NFL history. The viral clips of Jack Conklin's Superman-style dive and Joel Bitonio's sudden fall are now permanent pieces of internet history, reminders of a moment when an offensive line looked completely disconnected from its basic responsibilities. Whether this is horrible execution or something more calculated may never be proven completely, but the impact on Shedeur Sanders' rookie season is real and could be devastating if it continues. And now here we are, staring at one of the wildest defensive line controversies the NFL has seen in years, caught on camera, shared across the world, and discussed by fans who can't believe what they're watching. The Browns are deep in crisis mode, whether they want to admit it or not. And Shedeur Sanders is stuck in the middle of a situation no rookie quarterback should ever have to deal with. As this saga keeps unfolding, one thing stands out more than anything. Something is seriously off in Cleveland. And until it gets fixed, this team and its young quarterback will keep struggling in ways that have nothing to do with talent or potential. Now it's your turn. What do you think is actually happening with the Browns' offensive line? Are we looking at bad coaching and busted execution? Or is there something more intentional brewing behind the scenes? Do you think Jack Conklin and Joel Bitonio are purposely sabotaging Shedeur Sanders? Or are fans reading too much into a handful of plays? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I want to hear what you think about this chaotic situation. And if this breakdown of the Browns' offensive line disaster shocked you as much as it shocked me while putting it together, hit that like button right now. This story needs to reach every NFL fan out there, because what's happening in Cleveland could have ripple effects across the entire league.